to the Fourth and Long Fantasy Football Show.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Fourth and Long Fantasy Football Show. My name's Justin. Episode 59 today. Week 10 is come and gone, and we're on to Week 11. On today's episode, I'll give a few of my Week 10 reactions, and then I'll get into my waiver wire targets and my starts of the week for Week 11. Now, as a reminder, I'm releasing these weekly shows on Thursday mornings, getting you prepared with my weekly recaps, waiver wire ads, and starts of the week. Your time is valuable, so let's get to it.
On today's show...
All right, so for today's show, I'm going to start by giving you a couple quick reactions to Week 10. We're getting closer and closer to the fantasy playoffs, everyone. Most leagues end up starting their playoffs in either Week 15 or 16, so we're down to only a handful of matchups left. This is the home stretch. I'm going to get my Week 10 recap started here with a quick discussion on the New England Patriots fantasy-friendly offense. This offense is producing fantasy-relevant options. It's true. Now, my brother and I were actually lucky enough to go see the Patriots game this Sunday at Gillette. We got to see it in person in action, and I want to give a shout out to my beautiful wife, Nicole, for the surprise tickets. That was awesome. The Patriots offense is slowly but surely producing fantasy-relevant options. I didn't think we'd see it in year one with Mac Jones, but here we are. Mac Jones has proven after a slow start to the season that he's a worthy start in Superflex and 2 quarterback leagues, and he's actually inching his way closer and closer to that back-end quarterback one discussion, especially if he continues to progress at the pace he is right now. What I really want to talk about is the game from rookie running back Rhamondre Stevenson. I had Stevenson as one of my waiver wire ads for last week, and if you happen to grab him and started him this past Sunday, you were definitely happy and satisfied with the outcome there. The rookie running back consistently fought for hard yards, and I think we've learned something here. It's that the New England Patriots backfield is certainly one to own, whoever that back is. Now, the Patriots play the Atlanta Falcons this Thursday, and Damian Harris, who was out this past Sunday, did practice on a limited basis. We'll see if he actually clears the concussion protocol in time for Thursday night's game. Now, if he doesn't and he's out again, Rhamondre Stevenson slots back in as a running back 2 with upside against this pretty weak Atlanta defense. But if Damian Harris does clear the protocol and if he does get out there for Thursday night's game, I think we probably end up seeing somewhat of a 60-40, maybe even 55-45 split between the two backs, probably in favor of Damian Harris. I think the most important thing, though, is that Rhamondre has earned a role in this offense. I think he'll continue to see some touches in this offense week in and week out. But I think it'll be interesting to see how it's divvied up over the next number of weeks. Next, what happened with stud quarterbacks this past week? With the exception of Patrick Mahomes, who had a huge bounce-back game this week, it was a really tough week for a number of other quarterbacks who really struggled in Week 10. Rodgers, Brady, Wilson, Lamar, Herbert, Stafford, all had duds this week. Now, for fantasy managers with these quarterbacks, my advice would be don't get cute, right? Don't go starting the new hotness in a guy like Cam Newton over Aaron Rodgers or Justin Herbert. Trust the talent. Believe that the bounce back performance will come. Keep playing your stud quarterbacks as we head into the playoffs. And then finally, can we trust Antonio Gibson again? Heading into the Washington football team's bye week in Week 9, the narrative around second-year running back Antonio Gibson had gone a bit sour. Gibson had been trending down with a nagging shin injury, and then in Week 8, he actually found himself out-carried by rookie running back Jarrett Patterson. The alarm was definitely going, guys. I was concerned, but I think the bye week maybe did him some good because in Week 10, it brought Antonio Gibson's best fantasy game of the season. He totaled almost 80 yards, and he scored twice from the goal line against a pretty stout Buccaneers rush defense. So is he back? Can we trust Gibson as a high-end running back 2 once again? It's tough, and it's difficult to say for sure that's the case because I think there will be more games like this past week for Gibson in the future, but I also think there will be games where the football team is behind and the game script calls for preferred pass-catching back J.D. McKissic to dominate snap share. So where do I fall? I think Gibson falls right in line after that group of running backs that are more assured to get touches week in and week out, regardless of game script. Guys like Josh Jacobs, Michael Carter, Elijah Mitchell if he's healthy. So he's more of a mid to back end running back 2 for me from here on out. I hope he gets it figured out and continues to build on his success because I'm rooting for the guy. All right, next let me get into my waiver wire ads for Week 11. Before I get there, my ads for last week included Eno Benjamin, Rhamondre Stevenson, and Logan Thomas. A great call on Rhamondre Stevenson last week. Let me keep it going for Week 11. I'm going to start my list off this week with a running back, and it's going to be San Francisco 49ers running back Jeff Wilson Jr. I talked about Jeff Wilson Jr. as a pickup a few weeks back as a high upside stash with league-winning upside. In the event he came back, found opportunity, and emerged as the lead back for the 49ers. Well, news broke Tuesday that Elijah Mitchell has a fractured finger. That brings Jeff Wilson Jr. back to the top of my waiver wire list for Week 10. Now, early reports are that Mitchell should be okay, but we don't know if he's going to miss any time. And if he does, Jeff Wilson has the opportunity to become a solid running back 2 here. Go grab him and stash the running back who won people some leagues last season. Next, I'm going to go with a quarterback, and I'm going to go with Carolina Panthers quarterback Cam Newton. He's back. He's back in Carolina and contributed immediately in Week 10. Actually, his first 2 touches as a Panther resulted in a rushing touchdown and a passing touchdown. And I think he has to be added speculatively to see if he can rekindle the magic he once brought to the Panthers a few years back. Now, we have to remember, right, that Cam Newton hasn't looked good in a few years, and last year was a disaster in New England. Maybe it was a byproduct of the system they run. I don't know. I'm not starting Cam Newton yet, right, but I'm adding him for the stretch run as a potential low-end quarterback 1 in this Matt Rule run offense. And then finally, my last ad for Week 11 is going to be a tight end, and I'm going to go with Jacksonville Jaguars tight end Dan Arnold. The Jaguars have found their tight end, and his name is Dan Arnold. Arnold has 7+ targets in 4 of his last 5 games, and in Week 10, he hauled in 5 catches for 67 yards. He also caught a 2-point conversion. That's rock solid for a tight end, ladies and gentlemen. Now, he isn't a league winner, but at a position as scarce and as widely inconsistent as tight end, he simply needs to be rostered. All right, let me get into my starts of the week for this week. Last week, I had quarterback Dak Prescott, running back Najee Harris, and wide receiver Mike Evans. Solid performances all around from those guys. I'm going to get my Week 11 list started with a quarterback, and it's going to be Cincinnati Bengals quarterback Joe Burrow. Fresh off a Week 10 bye, I think the Bengals get back on track in Week 11 against the Las Vegas Raiders, who were just lit up by Patrick Mahomes in the Chiefs pass game in Week 10. With a plethora of skill players, including Jamar Chase, Joe Mixon, T. Higgins, and Tyler Boyd, Burrow is one of my favorite low-end quarterback ones for Week 11. I'm going to start him with confidence. My next start of the week is going to be a running back, and I'm going to go with Cleveland Browns running back Nick Chubb. Chubb is expected back in Week 11, and I think we see a week winning-esque performance from the stud running back against this lowly Detroit Lions rush defense. Chubb's going to have fresh legs. He should come out running through brick walls in Week 11. Chubb is a stud. He should be started as one this week. He's my running back 1 overall in Week 11. And then finally, my last start of the week is going to be a wide receiver, and it's going to be Miami Dolphins wide receiver Jaylen Waddle. Waddle has been Miami's best wide receiver through the season, and I think he really shows his stuff in Week 11 against the New York Jets secondary. His old college pal, quarterback Tua, will be under the helm, and I expect a big game from the rookie wideout. I expect a big catch and modest yardage output from Jaylen Waddle. I'm starting him with confidence in Week 11. So that'll do it. Please remember to comment and like on this video on YouTube, subscribe to the channel, and find us on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and Spotify. This has been the 4th and Long Fantasy Football Show. Good luck in Week 11, everybody. See you next week.
Royalty-free music courtesy of Ben Sound. The views and opinions expressed on today's episode are that of the 4th and Long Fantasy Football Show. Remember to like and subscribe.